Suzuka is one of the staples of the LCR calendar, and as you can see by the screen, it once again blesses us, the same as done in Season 5, with a heavy wet race, in the same conditions that a champion could be crowned, depending on the results today. But let's have a look at just a few minutes ago. We had a gripping and epic qualifying session, and here is your grid for it. So it's BRL Sirah, who lines up on pole position with his 9th pole position in his LCR career, jumping to the 3rd most in LCR history behind Traptor and Leopard with 12 and 35. Starting from 2nd is the Williams, and of course the team that Leopard made famous, starting from P2 with KJ Gamer, a solid qualifying from him. Crescito and Tibor make it a good friendship 3rd and 4th as the Toro Rosso beats the Alfa Romeo by 1,000th of a second in that qualifying session. The 2nd Williams of WR Clone Tree makes the highest performing team for Williams, with Dicio Felipe, after very much going up to P4, fell down to P6 for lap times later in the session. John Pat starts from 7th, with Boris Letterbox in P8. And row 5, round outside the top 10, is the Frenchman of LK, making it inside the top 10 for McLaren, and Amazed, who starts from P10 and could be the one to stop Sirah's championship charge, but needs a minor miracle in this race. Drylek starts outside the top 10, 11th, with Sims in P12. Row 7 is an all-Ferrari row, with Drizzvench out-qualifying his teammate in LCR Apex. They both are tied on 1 point in the championship. And row 8 at the back of the field, we have the Haas of VSR GC and a late bloomer in LCR Mod who didn't get a chance to take part in that qualifying session and defend against Sirah in the most amount of poles. But let's have a look. The drivers are thick and fast in the formation lap here in these heavy rain conditions. One, of course, is the voice of LCR, LCR Nighthead. Alongside me is not the OG voice of LCR. It is instead the 5-time champion of Leopard. Leopard, pleasure to have you here alongside me as per usual. We're looking at a championship crowning potentially, but as you can see, it's heavy rain and anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen indeed in the weather. Season 5 definitely proved. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but hey ho. But yeah, Season 5 obviously did prove that heavy rain around Suzuka can throw up pretty much anything, as it did back in Season 5. So we'll see what happens today. Sirah can also win the championship, as we've said many times already. All he needs to do is finish in 8th position, and he's well above that 8th position. He's on pole, so it's all looking good for the Brazilian to take home his first LCR World title.
Yeah, of course, it was another race victory for Sirah last time out of the Russian Grand Prix. He didn't win on track. Jolly crossed the line in 1st, but due to penalties he retook it. 2nd place went to that man Jolly, and 3rd place went to Amazed, who kept the title hopes alive heading into this weekend. But as we mentioned, it is extremely difficult for him to defend that, with Sirah having to finish lower than 8th and Amazed taking the checkered flag today to keep the hopes alive, as Sirah is ready to park up the line. He's got a long wait though, because Mulder's only now coming around 130R to complete the formation lap here today. Well, to put it in perspective, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 840 days since we had a different LCR World Champion other than Leopard. 1.2 million minutes that has been provided, but by the end of this one we could be hauling ourselves with a brand new champion to add to the Hall of Fame. Sirah on pole, KJ 2nd, Crescito and Tibor start on row 2 here in monsoon-like conditions in Japan, as we get ready for the 5 red lights. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and LCR Season 8 is off in Japan. It's a good start there from Sirah, pretty good on the second one as well from Tibor compared to Crescito. Coming down towards turn 1, it looks like Tibor's got alongside him and potentially going to go past. Sirah still leads, KJ in 2nd, just about Tibor gets past him. As you can see, that's Clone Troop and Felipe battling away through the first 2 corners for the first time. There's contact further down as well, and that's Brad that's gone off as well, coming out of turn 1 through towards the S for the first time. Sirah leads, KJ 2nd, Tibor 3rd, Crescito 4th, but the McLaren of 2, OK is off. He's been punted off there by Mason in the wall from wing damage for the Frenchman. Disaster start from him, but as they come through towards Dunlop Curve for the first time, Sirah safely leads, KJ is holding on to 2nd, but Tibor's right on the back wing, but absolute carnage further down Leopard.
Yeah, I checked back and saw the 2 Ferraris and the Red Bull round turn 1, so I couldn't quite catch what happened at turn 1. Obviously, LK being punted off by Amazing seemed through the S section as Tibor gets it ever so sideways on the exit of Decker, so he's going to be vulnerable to Crescito down into the hairpin. He keeps hold of that 3rd position for the time being. Sirah though already checked it out, it seems, at the front after only half lap of racing, and it seems like this battle is going to be for 2nd and not for the win, as per usual this season. It's the story of this season. Sirah is checking out yet again.
Well, Ben always seems to make the point that if you can get Sirah out in the lead, similar to what your driving style was like, you can just lead. But if you get him in a bit of traffic, that's when it begins to become difficult. But so far, 2.2 seconds after almost 3/4 of a lap ahead of KJ Gamer. Then comes Tibor, then comes Crescito and Felipe, holding up a bit of a four-way train here in the battle for P2 as the rain continues to lash down here in Suzuka. Meanwhile, Amaze has gone down the inside of Clone Troop at the Casino Triangle. John Papp involved as well. He'd lunged very late there on the Williams, going around the outside, the exit of the Casino Triangle, coming down towards turn one. Both take a very bobbly, very cautious exit. John, though, getting the rear end out a little bit. Coming down towards turn one, yeah, here comes Boris in the long way round on John. Two really midfield battles, getting a right old scruffle here, and Boris into 8th and takes away that moment. But Amaze came absolutely nowhere, but John came from even further back.
Yeah, I couldn't quite catch it, but yeah, Amaze making up those positions that I need to be making. Obviously, Sirah, 3.5 seconds after just over a lap of racing, but Amaze P10 to P6 already. He's doing what he needs to, he's doing all he can at the moment. He's catching up to that battle for second at a rate of knots. It's the Scotsman, but obviously he needs to try and catch the Brazilian of Sirah and hope that Sirah falls all the way down to 8th, which I somewhat doubt is going to happen, but Amaze is definitely giving it a good go in the Mercedes, and that move for Clone Troop definitely proved his saving up antennas. He's looking at the inside of Felipe into the hairpin. Very, very tricky. Obviously, this is where I binned it. It's season 5. All those seasons ago, but not by bidding it just yet. As anyone, as Felipe now all over the back of Crescito going into spoon curb. Can he make a move? No, can't. And to be honest, he probably shouldn't into spoon curb. Bit wide for the Brazilian. Is that going to leave vulnerable to the Mercedes? Oh, Amaze. No, it won't, but we'll see what happens down the route through 130R and the Casio Triangle.
Yeah, these two dropping back now from KJ and Tibor as they begin to sort of start battling, taking different lines to try and defend each other off and potentially initiate attack for the Brazilian. Amaze still very much in the rear view mirror, and I'm sure despite the rain you can still probably see that he has got Amaze for company right behind him. He's had a pretty much a blinder of a start. Meanwhile, Mulder gets past GC into 11th further down the field and up towards the front, though. Here comes Tibor potentially on KJ. Because no DRS in these conditions. Definitely see DRS in this race for the time being as the rain continues to come down. Sims pits as well, as you can see by the pit screen. Brad and LK taking early stops. Apex now gets up into 13th, and that's a big factor around here, of course, with the wet conditions. You know, pit stops could be quite costly. You know, you might even see a few drivers potentially try a no stop with, you know, full wet race. It's risky, but you know, you get one less pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely doable around some tracks on this game, and if you get the full wet weather, you can just do the full 50% race distance if you are kind to your tyres. But obviously, in the way, you can also very easily shred the tyres as well, so you got to be careful and try and find the balance between tyre saving and pace at the same time. But I'm just looking at that gap, I'm just in awe of what Sirah is doing. It's 2 seconds a lap.
Oh!
More than 2 seconds a lap.
Tibor going through 230R. That was Colin McRae stuff. I'm sorry, he got absolutely sideways. Oh!
Goodness me.
That made my heart
John
skip.
Papp picks up a penalty to distract our attention from the save of Tibor. Goodness me. As I was saying, Sirah, 6 seconds after 3 laps is that gap. This is Senna stuff. This is Senna stuff. How Senna would just pull away in these wet conditions. Senna was a master of the wet weather, and Sirah is just doing what Senna would do. He's chipping out in the wet at a rate of knots, more than a rate of knots by this point. 6.5 seconds after 3 laps of racing. Goodness me, he actually didn't lose it coming through the Estes.
Oh God, don't jinx him. Whatever you do. Don't jinx him in this situation. 6.7 seconds ahead now, but still this battle for second rages on between KJ and Tibor. Another snap of the rear end there from the Williams driver coming through Dunlop curve now, as you can see. The train has sort of reformed now. Back in a second. Oh, stop doing it, lad. You're giving us heart attacks.
It's slippery out there, if I can guess. It is very, very slippery. If someone has gone off
Boris.
Boris.
Oh, that's a massive crash. Mould has been collected. Safety car deployed. Boris is out. Mould has got damage. And that was without a doubt a hefty wallop.
Yeah, you can see the Alfa Romeo of Boris just stricken on the side of the road on the exit of Dunlop. In fact, it's already gone. But you can just see the carbon fibre on the road to Sector 1. It is, yeah, that's definitely a safety car, along with the rain as well. Good call from the stewards, let's say. And that also, this will neutralise everything. Those that got caught up in that Lat1 kerfuffle, Sims, Brad, LK, Apex, you know, all of those, they'll be able to catch up to the back of the group and they'll get a fresh start. Sirah is probably the one that did want to see this. Those 6 seconds, or 8.5 seconds, all gone as he's going into the pits already. He's into the pits. Maybe that's precautionary. Maybe he was planning on taking those full west to the end, and he's decided to fit a new step so he can definitely go to the end without any worries. But it's a bit of a gamble. Well, maybe not a gamble, but it's risky. Because he's not the lead, he's going to be well within the pack as Dralex just about gets past him. He'll have to get that one back.
Well, that was probably a bit of a motivation, really, from Dralex. Sort of amazed, probably telling him, look, please get ahead of him to potentially break up the train. And yeah, the big talking point about this is yeah, like you said, you know, he's probably trying to pit to be safe, but in wet conditions, track position is kind of king around here.
Yeah, I mean in general it's much harder to overtake, especially when, you know, your pace to the car you're trying to overtake is very similar. Obviously in these conditions you can see a very big skill gap in these conditions. You know, it's where you could argue where you separate the good from the great in terms of drivers, but it's very hard to overtake a driver on a similar pace compared to in these conditions. It is so incredibly difficult. So I would say you've really got to risk it if you want to get the move done. Because if the driver ahead doesn't make a mistake, you really have to force the issue almost and really try and take a risk, as I said, to try and get the move done, and that could result in contact and a crash between the pair of you. So it is risky to go for a move in these wet conditions, and it's a lot harder as well.
So lap 5:27 we're on now, so it's KJ that leads the field under the safety car, starting from second. Crescito, after a very good start, I have to say, from Tibble, got himself down into fourth, but then sort of held position and done a good job sitting nice and firmly behind Tibble and defending off Felipe, got himself back towards it. Then Felipe, who is now in third. Clone Troop after the pit has got jumped up to fourth, with Dralex also up from 11th on the grid to 5th as well and ahead of Sirah. Then comes Apex, who's up to 7th, and he's probably in Wonderland at the moment. Tibble is 8th, Amaze 9th, John Pap in 10th. GC has just pit again, and I wouldn't be surprised that was for damage, because he did actually also hit. What's going on there between Dralex and Sirah?
Not a clue, but I guess it's order restored between the two of them.
Yes, GC pits again. Sims is in again. GC interestingly pit there because, of course, he hit Mulder, or hit Boris, I think, and got a 5-second penalty for it, for a serious severe collision, despite the fact Boris was in the middle of the track and he couldn't avoid it. He still got the penalty for it. So he's then pitted again to serve that penalty. Now we're going to take them wets to the end. So probably smart thinking there to get that burden taken off his head and probably lose only a couple of positions given the train. But yeah, you know, obviously split strategies at Mercedes, of course. You know, as you probably expect, Dralex is going to probably try and defend Sirah a little bit when we get to the restart. But the same goes for Felipe as well. You know, if Amaze makes a charge up and Sirah gets back to where he once was, you know, we saw it in the first couple of laps. These drivers that, you know, Amaze needs to pass, the likes of KJ, the likes of Felipe, the likes of Crescito, are not pushovers. You know, these are genuinely serious, quick guys that he's going to have to properly get his elbows out if he wants to even dream about keeping this championship alive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's also really probably got to ramp up the pace a bit as well. This Scotsman, he's down in ninth. I think the thing for Mays is he's got nothing to lose. He's just got to go for it and hope for the best. I mean, he's in a situation where he's not only got to win, but he's got to hope Sirah, they're just 8th or below. So, you know, Mays has just got to go for this and just try and give it everything and see what happens.
We're still under safety car conditions. Safety car is not coming in this lap because we've still got GC and Sims to get to the back of the train, which means we'll begin lap 7. Still under these safety car conditions after what has been a very unique full wet. Of course, the first rain-affected session of the season. We're on to round 14 if you want the context about how mad that has been. But yeah, we're still waiting to go back to racing as Brad comes into the pits for Ferrari. That, I believe, is his second stop of the day. So already 3 drivers taken 2 stops in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think a fresh set of full wets for Ferrari. Suppose he was down in 14th. Suppose dropping one more position for a fresh set of tyres isn't going to harm, especially when he's going to be right off the back of that train within half lap or so. So probably good move from the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, safe tactic, of course. You know, it's a good chance, I have to admit, for Ferrari today, as you'll probably recognise as well. You know, with the heavy rain conditions, you know, you probably fancy them if the carnage does continue that we've seen so far. They could grab themselves a few points out of this. So, you know, particularly for Ferrari after what's been a dire season, this is probably a round that they can look back on with fondness if it does go right.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, they've got Apex up in 7th at the moment. I somewhat feel his position will drop slightly. Yeah, Brad on the fresh set of wets. We'll see what he can manage. Hope we'll see. Maybe he'll be able to get into the back end points. Who knows? So
just before we get back to running, let's do a full rundown of the grid for you. So KJ leads on lap 7, Cheeto 2nd, Felipe 3rd, and Clone Troop in 4th. Jalex 5th, with then the first of the pitters of the pole sitter in Sirah in 6th. Apex then pit, got run up to 7th with Tibor behind him, of course, did pit in P8. Amaze 9th, John actually pit a lap before the safety car and is now in P10. Mulder P11, LK P12, and you've got GC P13, Sims P14, and Brad at the back of the field in P15. One retirement, of course, Boris Ellis with a massive crash coming in towards Degner 2 out of the Dunlop curve. We're about to go back to racing here in Japan, and it is still the exact same conditions we started with. An absolute typhoon, with the Williams potentially about to cause a storm, now leading the Japanese Grand Prix. It was a one-man show in the opening few laps, but the battle behind him looked extremely exciting, and we hope it continues for the remaining 20 laps or so. Around the Casino Triangle, we wait to see when KJ is going to pick his moment. Coming out of the final corner, he's got a good bit of a run. Crescito, not the best restart, and we're back to racing, and KJ catch Crescito napping. Meanwhile, further down the field, Sirah in 6th, he's just about got a fairly okay start. Apex dropping back, and here comes Tibor on the outside of him. Alfa and Ferrari, 2 sister teams. Now going down the outside. Oh my goodness me, Sirah has gone a long way round at turn 1. Take a bow, Brazilian. That deserves plaudits. Car off, it's Mulder as well, as there's carnage further down.
Oh my goodness, what a move for the Brazilian. Rally us that turn 1 in the driest time, let alone the wet. That is some move from BRL Sirah. That could be move of the season. That could generally be move of the season. Oh my goodness.
Well,
I'm speechless. He's going to be on the back of Clone Troop.
He is, his prowl continues, he tries to pick on the inside. Oh, Clone Troop broke late though, had it wise, but a good exit here from Sirah as he has proved that he has got. Here we go through towards 200R, he's still picking up the outside line, going to try and get a sweeping move here. Clone Troop stung them in the back end. He had nowhere to go though. Sirah now picks the inside for a spoon curve. Down the inside goes BRL Sirah, and into 4th place he goes. Clone Troop, I think, really sort of sailed him through in the end, sort of knowing when he was beat. But up in the front now, he's only 1.3 seconds off his teammate, and then he's got Crescito and KJ ahead as well. But KJ still leads on lap 8. But here comes Jalex on Clone Troop in the battle for P5, going through towards 130R. who will hold their own just about. I think Clone Troop does enough to keep the position, but Prix was going to try and go down the inside, goes the Canadian on Clone Troop against his former team in Williams, around the outside, goes to Mercedes, now coming through towards turn 1. Tibble very much in the background of this as well. He's going to try and pick the inside for turn 1. He's going to get close. I don't think he's going to be close enough for a good run from Clone Troop. And here we go, down towards turn 1. Clone Troop going to try and come immediately straight back at Dralex. The long way round at turn 1. Tibble down the inside of him though. Contact. Clone Troop forced to go deep. And that surely will have to rejoin just about ahead of Apex. But then it's Tibble up to 6th and Dralex up to 5th.
Yeah, very close. That was never going to end cleanly. That was nearly 3 wide down to turn 1. End up only being 2 wide. But yeah, it's so hard to go 2 wide through turn 1. Sirah just about made it work with an unbelievable move on Dralex. But yeah, Tibble picked up the century from Dralex, got up the inside Clone Troop, and you'd probably argue he had enough of his car alongside to make the move stick, and indeed he did. He's now up to 6th, and he's going to go after Dralex, and then he's got a bit of clean air if he does get past him.
Yes, Felipe there taking the much deeper line compared to Kushito, attacking really, you have to say. Meanwhile, Mays goes past Apex for P8. Up he goes now. Of course, lost a bit of time because absolute carnage, but here goes Felipe on a spoon curve, trying to go the long way round on 2nd place. And I have to say, all this is helping really is actually KJ to get away in the distance.
Yeah, I mean, KJ's got...
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, Sirah's now going to pass Felipe through towards 130R. So now, I mean, Kushito will surely take the race lead. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but throughout the last couple of weeks, KJ's been talking about bad luck in league racing. It's another curse as Tibble passes Dralex, and here goes Sirah and Kushito and Felipe as KJ, in a heartbeat, drops from 1st to 4th, and that's going to be soul crushing. But here goes Sirah, going to the outside line, he's got back in, but a long way round for BRL Sirah again. 2nd time's the charm, he leads the Japanese Grand Prix, and in a matter of minutes, he's gone from P6 to P1. Dominant. I think you're just taking the mickey.
Yeah, he is taking the mickey at this moment. He is just so dominant in these conditions around this track. He's already got a second gap over the Toro Rosso, or nearly a second. It's 8 or 9 tenths at the moment for the Brazilian. Cristito lights up the race out Dunlop. But Sirah is just, he's in a class of his own. He really is in a class of his own at the moment in these conditions at this track. You just have to watch and say, wow, to be honest, it is quite incredible to watch. But
meanwhile, his teammate battling away here with the Frenchman of Kushito. This battle going to be continue rampaging on for 2nd, but almost simultaneously, here comes Tibble as well. Meanwhile, further down, GC getting past LK. There's a car off, oh, it's KJ's off!
Oh!
At the exact
back of the
area.
LCGC, yeah.
Oh! I'm getting flashbacks. I'm actually getting flashbacks.
Yeah, and now it's left again. Yeah, a disastrous. Yeah, a disastrous couple minutes for the Williams driver, from leading the race to disconnecting to getting back in with a bit of hope to then having a crash that thoroughly ends all that hope, and now he's out of the race for good, I think. And yeah, I think that's the end of his afternoon. Sirah sets the fastest lap with a 43.4.
Coming down towards turn 1, is he going to think about the inside? He gets close, but I think in these conditions, you can't really think about a move in this one, as Apex is into the pit again. Actually, this is the first time, sorry. It's going to be a change of tyres, going to another set of full wets, no front wing change, so obviously, yeah, just a strategic change to get them towards the end of the race. But yeah, Felipe and Kushito still continuing their battle here. Tibble is closing up, and also because of the train effect, you have to say Dralex is in arm's reach as well.
Yeah, Dralex is definitely in a position if these three start battling, or if they get a bit too aggressive with one another. Dralex will definitely be there to catch us as well, and maybe even claim a couple of positions.
Oh, John Papp
is round a Dunlop.
Oh.
This time, no incident, or no safety car, no collecting of cars on exit. This time, John Papp in the race point should be able to rejoin rather safely, and indeed he does, and he'll be back on his way in these monsoon conditions. here in Japan. Back on board with a battle for second place. Still a few tenths separating Rosito, Felipe and Tibor. Felipe in the slipstream, in overtake mode on around 130. Will he have a look down at the Casio triangle if he can get a good run out of here, which indeed he does. Will he have a look down the inside into the Casio triangle? No, stays behind for the time being. Single file through the final chicane. Gonna try and set something up down the main pit straight on the ramp to turn 1 is DTO Felipe. Now into whole lap, into overtake. In the slipstream once again on the ramp to turn 1. Will Coutinho go defensive? No, he doesn't have to. Felipe backing off yet again for the time being, and Prusio will hold the position for a few more corners.
It seems like Crescito's got some very good straight line speed. Setup obviously might be preferred compared to Felipe's, more conservative from Felipe, probably through the corners as well. So currently you have to say Felipe quicker in the sections that he can't really get past. So they come through, as you saw there, he got a bit close to him. Now coming up through the Dunlop curve, and I must admit, as someone that's done this track in the wet, I'm sure you understand that as well. Oh, here we go. The fridge was degging as I thought he was going to think about it. But yeah, through the Dunlop curve, I don't know about you, Leopard, but every single time I take that in the wet, my heart does sink a bit because it's so deceptively tight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot tighter than you think. I mean, in the dry, if you get the line right, if you're coming up downforce, it's just about flat, and I mean just about. But most times, if you haven't got the confidence, it's a lift in the dry. In the wet, I mean, not only got that curve on the outside to think about, but it's a traction zone as well in the wet to think about. You've got to be a lot more careful, and it is a lot more tighter. There's less grip, as you'd expect with these full wet weather conditions, and as a result, more chance for mistakes, as we've already seen.
Don't want no mistake, they're coming out of turn 1. He's having a torrid time, of course, the winner of this Grand Prix in Season 4. Speaking of which, he's out of the race.
He's out.
Just like that, we lose the Greek. We're down to technically 13 in this lobby because of course we did lose KJ as he quit. The VSC is deployed. None of these guys fancy pitting. However, Dralex takes those opportunity to pit, and I think that's smart because he didn't pit under the safety car. So just to make sure those tyres get to the end, get a free-ish pit stop, and Clone Troop going to do the same.
Yeah, and many more LK, BRC GC, Sims, all these fire drivers into the pits as the virtual safety car comes out. So I think we're about to get going once again. In fact, BRC GC with another wing change. But yeah, I said back could be the points. He isn't for the points.
Oh,
it's the American in the fry into the points, and you can take those words to the end. So he's in a points playing position at the moment. It's the Ferrari. And yeah, Clone Troop into the pits from what I believe was the top 5 position, or near enough the top 5 position.
Yep.
As we are back to green flag once again.
Back underway here after a very, very short VSC period. By the way, if Brad would have finished in this position, which, no offence to him, but still a long way to go in this one, we're only just about to cross the halfway point. He would actually triple the Constructors' points of Friday this season, but a big moment for someone on the track there.
Tibor through 200R. Just a slight snap of oversteer, shall we say, for the Alfa Romeo. Again, I was talking about how Dunlop is from dry to wet. Is in the wet. It's a traction zone. 200R isn't quite necessarily a traction zone. In fact, it's very easy. And the wet until it gets it squarely on the exit of 130R. Goodness me, Tibor's got that car moving all over the place in these wet conditions. But yeah, you know, if you get the line wrong, or if you put a bit too much steering angle in, the car can snap through 200R. The rear can step out a bit, as it has done for Tibor on a couple of occasions through 200R already.
Yes, it's still a long way to go, and you have to say, when pushing them tyres, he still might be in a potential danger zone. He's got 4 laps younger than the guys behind him, ahead of him, the likes of Felipe, the likes of Crescito, who of course started on that set, opted not to pit behind the safety car. Meanwhile, a ding-dong going on here between two rivals of the past few rounds, Apex and GC, battling away for P12 after both pitting in respective lap 2 laps ago. But now GC ahead into 12th, and those two continue to battle at the tail of the grid, and have to say they have been keeping up their such sort of lower end battle that they've been having as of late. I would like to point out KJ now into the chat saying, yeah, VC would have been brilliant for me. And another DC, more bad luck. I have to admit, I haven't quite seen someone with that much bad luck in league racing as a whole the past few weeks as you have had, my man. Keep your head up. You'll get through this, I believe. Back to the action then.
Yeah, back to the action. Half a second or near enough is pushed. Half a second to just over separating Cristiano to Felipe and Felipe to Tibor. In fact, Felipe is a lot closer to Cristiano than Tibor is to Felipe. Felipe, I think, is a bit too far back to try anything into the Casco triangle, and indeed he is. Will he try and set something up down the ramp to turn on? Sirah's now just showing off on his points, taking another fast step of the race, 1:43.346 for the Brazilian in the Renault. He's got to cruise at home by this point. Felipe a little bit wide through turn one. Have you muted your mic here, Mike Chance?
No, actually, I was letting you continue talking.
Oh, okay. You take over immediately, but no, let me do a bit then. Not much happening though, so I'll let you take over.
I would like to say though that of course, if Sirah does win this race, it's not a Grand Slam victory because of course he hasn't led every single lap. Despite the fact probably you feel like it should be given what we've seen from him. But on lap 15 and 27 he's now pulled the gap out to Crescito to 7.3 seconds. And of course corner cutting around here, Leopard, it's something that you either do a lot or you don't do at all around this circuit. And you add the rain to the fact that everyone's taking it fairly cautious, so I think it's one of the few results where penalties don't actually affect too many positions.
Yeah, indeed, obviously penalties within league racing a very, very big factor. In fact, most races you see are actually decided on penalties, like last week actually, in Russia was decided on penalties, and it's a big thing within league racing. Can you keep it on the track, or can you take as much? Yeah, really, I think that's the thing, just taking as much curb, or it's really, I mean, that's racing, isn't it? Using as much track without going off it, or as much as you can get away with. It's pushing the boundaries, and if you push those boundaries too much, you end up with the warning. If you push it too many times, then you end up with a penalty or two. And we see it so many times this season, so many times within league racing. You see races decided on penalties. And but yeah, in the wet around Japan, the drivers are being fairly cautious, and you probably wouldn't be wanting to push the boundaries as much as you would in the dry. So I don't expect to see too many penalties around it. But yeah, as you said, with you're right, it's either you get a load around here or you keep it clean as a whistle, pretty much.
Yeah, so on lap 16 now, just about 11 laps left to go of the Japanese Grand Prix here in what has been very much a rain-affected race. It's crystal clear and beautiful skies for qualifying. Somehow in a very quick, it's turned. And speaking of turning, Sirah has got himself a 3-second time penalty. And yes, it's 8 seconds, but a few more of them, and it all adds up in the end.
Yeah, I feel like that nose step, that'll be his only one. It's Felipe for a long way back. Goodness me, they made contact. Crescito nearly half spins Felipe from so far back into the hairpin. I don't think that was intention from the Brazilian. I think that was just broke way too late. Did the Renault, and now he can spin him off the inside into smooth curb. They're going to go too wide through smooth curb. Tibor's going to be up into third place, and indeed he is. Into third goes the Alfa Romeo. Felipe though will try and get a better exit than the Alfa Romeo. He now is going to try and go alongside the Alfa Romeo to try and take the third place back. All this is now Crescito. Get further away. Side by side, run 130 yard. Who's going to be braver? It's going to be Tibor. And Tibor, as a result of a mistake from Felipe, goes into third position.
Probably the most patient man on the grid, waited finally for something to happen, and it did. Bit of contact, only took advantage, not even at that corner, the next one. Meanwhile, Dralek passes LCR World after pitting at 130R. Incredible move. Has now got a long gap to his teammate who's in no man's land. He's 8 seconds ahead of the nearest car and 8 seconds behind the car ahead. That goes to show how much of a bit of a different day it has been for him, currently in 5th place, which is respectable, but of course not, I'm sure, what he would have hoped to be the party pooper here in Suzuka. But round the S's comes Tibor, and now You have to wonder, with the Brazilian now at the back of the train, there's been some more urgency seen now from the Renault now that after a mistake he's lost a position, or we possibly see some more urgency from the Frenchman of Tibor, you know, now starting to see an opportunity with just one car ahead of him. Oh, Felipe.
Oh,
Ferb.
Felipe's gone. 2 disconnects for those that were within the battle. Probably what would have ended up being second, but what was the first initially. KJ and Felipe are both disconnected from the Japanese Grand Prix. KJ got back in. I think Felipe will get back in. Yeah, I think Felipe will get back in eventually, but I think Amaze might have another position coming his way.
I can't believe that. I actually can't. That's the second time I've said someone's looking like they could be good here, and then they disconnect. So I'm not going to say anyone's looking good. They're all looking awful. Sirah's looking to finish in a resounding P15 by the looks of things. But here goes Tibor on Crescito at 130R. Got a mega run and could have had an opportunity there as Sirah goes past his 42.8 and continues to take the mickey out of the rest of the field around here. Meanwhile, Brad is passed by Clone Troops now into 8th and LK right on the back of him. We've also got Tibor beginning to get closer to the back of Crescito, and to make things worse, Felipe's AI has pit as soon as he's joined the session back.
Yeah, it's rubbing sort of the wound that one for Felipe. I suppose the left fresh west, I suppose he can have a bit of fun when he gets back in the car. He can try and catch back up to probably Drelex, I say. Going off the pace he's had and being on fresh wet tyres, but yeah, such a shame for the Renault driver. But what was a 4-way battle became 3, and now what was a 3-way battle has now become 2. Let's just wait. No, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say that.
Yeah,
keep my mouth shut on that
I
one.
would just hold fire on that one as LK now gets past Clone Troop. He's into 8th, and now the nearest car behind Felipe. Felipe is now back in, which is good to see. So now he can get the hammer down despite his AI pitting when I can guarantee no Felipe, he probably didn't want him to pit, but he has come into the pits and put on a fresh set of the wet compound tyres. Still lap 18 of 27, about 9 laps to go left of the Japanese Grand Prix, and patient calmness I think is the thing we need at the moment.
Yeah, bit of calm. It's been a fairly hectic race with scares, spins, crashes, brilliant overtakes. This tick all the boxes really. Besides a little bit of drama, I'd say, I mean, technically had that as well. You could argue, but yeah, a bit of calm for the time being, a bit of a stalemate. Yeah, still battles to look out for throughout the field. In particular, obviously the battle for second place between Crescito and Tibor.
So, to give you an idea of the live chance standards as GC gets past Brad to get into 10th, they might actually score some good points for Haas. And by the looks of things, they've had a pretty weird season, plenty of drivers coming in, but GC's been the one that's remained consistent throughout. They've only scored 1 point, that came in round 2 in Australia. Since they've not scored a point, but on to score 1 as it stands at the moment here. But going back to talk about championship standings for you, because in case I need to remind you, Sirah will be champion if it does remain the same. But talking about the battle for second place, so Amazed will score 12 points as Crescito's gone deep, and Tibor is now on the outside and head up towards 200R. I'll forget my championship standings because he's the one that actually I will be talking about with regards to points coming up. Mulder 3 second time, but down towards Spoon. Here he comes, get closer and closer to Torosso. Pops it out to the inside line. Good a thing about it, keeps the front wing in there. But unlike what he managed to do before with Felipe, he couldn't quite get the car alongside, and that was the first real attempt of a move in this battle that could very much go all the way to lap 27, Leopard.
Yeah, talk about playing with fire, that is exactly what Tibor did there. He's going to be in the center of Crescito on the road to Castillo Triangle. Is he going to go down this time? Yes, he is. Much later on the brakes, and the Toro also, and I think Crescito gives way for BRL Tibor, and Tibor is up into second position in the Japanese Grand Prix. But yeah, into Spoon Kirby definitely was playing with fire there, leaving his nose in there. That could have ended much worse than it did. But yeah, Crescito was just a bit later on the brakes than Felipe was, and managed to just enough of a gap to shut the door on Earl Tibble, but didn't matter in the end. Tibble, a couple of corners there, got down the inside into the Casio triangle, and he's up into second position.
Yeah, so now I can talk about the standings because now they're actually in the positions. Right, so Amazed will score 12 points currently in P4. That will put him onto 158. His teammate
VRCGC.
Oh yeah.
VRCGC on closure for the round to turn 1. Not getting just yet. VRCGC up the inside on closure into turn 1. Going to the house driver. And that's the 9th place for VRCGC. Now you can talk about championship standings.
As it stands, it would triple his points in the championship. Doing a good job, I've said. Very good stint from the hash driver now in the P9. He's flying on that set of wet tyres at the moment. But yeah, so championship standings at the moment. So Amazed will go on to 158 with the P4. As a car off, I can't even catch a break, and it is Sims at the S's. And I think he's picked up damage as well. That's disaster for the Red Bull, as his teammate's currently in 6th. Right, 5th time's the charm. Right, so Amazed will go on 158 and remain in P2. Dralex will go onto 152 and drop a further 2 points back from him. So that'll mean there's 6 points between them. As Tibble gets a penalty, he's on for P2. If the penalty,
he's already got 1.5 seconds. I think he'll have the pace to.
So if he does get the P2, he will be able to jump to 148, 4 points behind Dralex, 10 points behind Amazed. That is going to be an incredible championship fight for second place between those three, I have to say. And that's going to be probably the highlight of the final few rounds is between those guys.
Yeah, well, obviously the championship looking at this point all but done with 6 or so laps to go. Attention will switch to the battle for second between Tibble, Dralex and Amazed. Who will get that second in the championship in LCR Season 8? Well, we'll find out in a few rounds' time, won't we? But at the moment, Tibble in second place, looking to gain a good chunk of points over his Mercedes rivals.
Yeah, really good championship fight that we've got going on there. There's Felipe pretty much on his own on 99. He's going to P7 as Sims is into the pits again. Actually hits the wall on the way in and is stuck.
Oh no.
Oh, he's still going.
He's good. He's good. Reset the track. Works the charm. I've never seen that before. Someone getting stuck on the pit wall.
That's a new one to me as well, I must admit.
Yeah. It's a new one. And actually, it's going to get lapped by BRL Sirah, who was... Yeah, I'm going to say he's dominated this race from start to finish. Even throwing a bit of overtaking just to spice it up a little. But yeah, he's looking set, shall we say, for his first LCR Season 8 World title.
Yeah, and well, here in Japan, of course, you know, the Brazilian hero of Ayrton Senna crowned himself champion. Even when it started to rain, he come out and proved that he is well and truly the rainmaster of not only his generation, but of probably all the Formula 1 generations throughout history. And Sirah once again proving that it might just be a Brazilian thing, as he's on set to crown another race victory to add to the tally that will continue the form of either finishing on a podium or putting it in the wall, with 2 DNFs at the start of the season, 1 second place that came at Italy, but other than that has been the man on top. And dare I say it, Leopard, and you probably won't like me saying it, but he's probably a more dominant champion than you were in 5 times.
No comment. I mean, you can argue. I mean, in terms of earliest title when you'll equal my record. You could have broken the record for the earliest title win last time out in Russia, but you can imagine it actually goes wide that third triangle.
He's followed it. It's all changing. Ramp up the race. It's not happening. Yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, it's Sirah put it in the wall. No, it's not. It's Sims. He put it at the exit of 130. Safety. Oh my god.
Safety car. That changes it a bit.
He's not pitted. Sirah can't pit. Oh.
That's
Book your tickets,
that's
lads!
furthest fire in the works.
Blockbuster finish inbound. Into the pits comes Sirah. Crescito is still out on his wets. What's he doing?
I mean, he's surely got to be in. He is. Will Drelex follow? No, he won't. Oh my goodness, we have got a grandstand finish here in Suzuka. There's a safety car on lap 23 or 27. Sirah could pit. He has to go around one more time before he can, if he wants to.
Felipe, no! Why? He pit but changed his mind last second and clipped the wall on the way in. Oh.
That could hold Sirah more. No, in this game.
I don't know if he got damage from that though, but
yeah.
speechless.
Yeah. Crescito has been let by the safety car.
Yeah, because Sirah got let go, so they're having to do another lap. But
Oh yeah.
that's just gonna be another lap ticking on though, surely.
I mean, I don't think races finishing under safeguard conditions is a thing in this game, so we will at least get one lap of green flag.
So
We will get at least one. I have seen last lap dashes in league racing before. I've commented on them, and it proved to be an absolute blockbuster of a finale.
Sirah's in! Sirah's in!
He might get away with it actually. He might get away with it.
Yeah, because Crescito's still
Wait,
stuck under the delta.
He'll get away with it. He'll be fine.
Oh my. I didn't think he'd get away with that, but he has. Crescito stays out on his set of wet tyres, so he's going to do his best to try and take them down towards turn one. And yet, as you can see, Sirah, despite having to take an extra lap, still leads the Japanese Grand Prix. But now with desperate lunges becoming a thing, it just got a whole lot more interesting.
Indeed it has. Sirah just has to nail the restart, you'd think. And they should be all good to set off once again. But if he gets it slightly wrong and leaves off vulnerable to Crescito, I think Crescito knows. Penalties as well, Sirah's got a penalty. I'll just remember that. Sybil has a penalty as well. I know Crescito and Drelex don't, but they're on much older tyres.
Oh my. Oh
It's
my
gonna be close.
goodness. Mulder, by the way, is stuffed in P5. He's got 3 penalties. According to this, LK has 1. GC picked up a time penalty, but has since then he served his 5 seconds, so he could actually beat Mulder in P7. Amazed in P8 does not have a penalty. Clone Troop P9 has 1 penalty, and Brad got 2 penalties in the drive-through behind the safety car. Not quite sure how he's done that. So yeah, so basically, if Crescito and Drelex can stall Sirah, they could win this race, either one of them.
It depends how much longer this safety car goes on for. I think we'll go for one more lap. I hope it goes off one more lap so we can see everything bunch up a bit more than what it is now, because that would be fairly anticlimactic for the safety car just to peel off into the pits now as it is.
The light's not gone.
Yeah, we haven't seen the message, so I'll be staying out one more lap. So we will see at least most of the drivers bunch up once again. As we enter lap 25-27, it's going to be a 2-lap sprint, I think, to the finish. Who's going to win this race? 2 laps to go. Crescito will need to stay within 3 seconds, as will Drelex, if they want to beat Sirah. I think Sirah's going to be champion. I think, provided a miracle. Even if Sirah crashes out, I can't see a maze getting into a race-winning position. It will have to take something monumental.
I am
for that to
absolutely
happen.
clueless about what is going on here in in Japan. It is, without a doubt, an unusual spectacle seeing the track and race go right into the end. Still waiting to find out what has happened in Europe, trying to see if there has been a champion. I don't think there has, because I don't think Astro has won the race. I think Kemba has won the race, so the champion goes to another round at France in the Europe division. But here in World, we still could have a Renault crown champion. But with 2 laps to go,
I think
pressure.
Yeah, definitely pressure. Sirah has about a 3-second gap. Now he's proven he can do 2 seconds in the lap on equal tyres. He's got much fresher tyres than Cristino. Cristino's pretty much only chance is that he nails the restart and can get alongside. That's his only chance. He needs to try and rough up Sirah into turn 1. If he can manage it, then this race will get very interesting. If he can't, I can definitely see Sirah pulling out that 3 seconds and winning the race and winning the championship as a result. Safe car in this lap.
Here we go. After 25 laps, we thought this one was done and dusted. But the safety car had other ideas. As if it was NASCAR in its prime. It's time to go racing with 2 to go and potentially a champion on the way. 5-second penalty there for Tibble. 5-second penalty for Apex for ignoring yellow flags. We get back to go racing though, nevertheless. Cuscito looking to hug the back of Sirah as much as possible through the final few corners they come now. And we're back to racing. 10-second penalty for LK. It's a dreadful start from Cuscito compared to Sirah, and that is not what he wanted. Green flags now wave. Coming down to turn 1. It's already a 1.2 second gap. And you do wonder, has he already done enough before he's even reached turn 1? Meanwhile, Felipe flies past Brad to get himself into P10. And we've still got Dralex here hounding the back of Cuscito in a battle that they probably feel is for the battle for the win.
Yeah, indeed, although Sirah has nearly 2 seconds already. Tibbles so close to the back of Dralex. Obviously, Tibble needs to get past these guys. He wants his second place in the championship. We were talking about how second the championship is going to want to watch after this race. And, you know, Dralex and Tibble, you know, they're 2 of those that can claim that second in the championship. But Tibble, the 3-second penalty, needs to get past. He has his second one, Suzuki stuff for, I think it's for one of the Red Bulls. I think it's Sims once again. Tibble's going to look to go up the inside of Dralex. It's there with Cristiano to defend from Dralex. Sims already got the gap to 3 seconds. Mulder and Elko going side into the hairpin. Dralex though is all over the back of Cuscito. Through 200R, on the run up to Spoon Curb. Can he make anything work? Can Tibble make anything work? Tibble, can he try and make the same move he did on Felipe all those laps ago? No, he can't. He's got to start the exit on the run up to 130R on the Casio triangle.
3.8 seconds. Sirah's got the gap already, but meanwhile, look at this squabble here between Amaze, Mulder, and GC, all squabbling the way down the backstretch towards 130R. Meanwhile, Tibble has got right on the back of Dralex going through towards the Casino Triangle. Is he going to think about a lunge? He gets close, he does go for the lunge. Down the inside goes the Frenchman, and past goes the Frenchman into P3. Meanwhile, GC might have got the better here of those, but I think Amaze has got the better of here. Goes Felipe on the outside of Clone Troop as well. Out of nowhere comes the Renault, and he's into 9th. Brad pits because he's going to drive through the serve, but on lap 27, the final lap of racing, it is still Sirah who leads now by 5.2 seconds. Up to just 1 lap of a safety car restart. The tyre difference is mega as well, and also LK is closing up towards the back of Dralex, but he has a penalty as well. Penalties, we said, might not play an impact here, but they are in the end going to play a massive impact in these results.
Yeah, indeed. Tibble looking for any way past Cristiano. He tried to size one up coming through the S's, couldn't quite make it work. And Mason, Mulder actually going side side, I think, or going side side. And Mason into the grass. Tibble, not Tibble, Mulder up the inside to Degnan 1. Can't quite make that work. And Mason hangs to grab the outside of Degnan 1, and he'll keep hold of this 6th position. Not that arm out, Tibble should just charge him. Tibble's not up the inside of Cristiano into the hairpin. Goes to the Alfa Romeo, he'll get the move done. Track has got a penalty, so he'll drop down. Way
oh, there's a car off. There's lots of cars off. GC, Clone Troop involved. Apex is into the points. He's got 2 points by the sounds of things. But we've got to go on board with Sirah. Round towards the final few corners for the Brazilian. It has been a very, very, very long reign from one man. 5 seasons spanning 840 days. But finally, it will come to an end here in Japan. We thought maybe last week would be the crowning glory. But this week it's going to be Renault are going to win the Drivers' Championship for the first time. And it's BRL Sirah, champion of LCR Season 8. And the winner of the Japanese Grand Prix. Tibor will cross the line in second, but it'll be Crescito that jumps up to second, Dralex up to third, Amaze gets fifth, narrowly misses out on Tibor, Felipe gets sixth, LK down to seventh, Apex doesn't hold on to the 4 points that he had, he holds on to 1, GC holds on to 6 points, which is a massive boost for a Haas season, but here we have it, finally. A new champion crowned, and I have to say, I couldn't think of a better man to fit the portfolio.